Hello, nerds, and welcome. We are crossing the Nerdverse. I'm Ryan, taking over a host position tonight because our beloved Travis, the normal voice of the show, is currently having a baby. So we are all here, very excited, in support of Travis and Elena. I'm joined, however, by Clark and Eric, and we're going to try our best to Unfortunately, I'm stuck here with these guys. But no, we're going to try our best to fill in the shoes while Travis is taking some time off. And we do have a very, very exciting episode lined up for tonight. Given the topic, I guess, at hand, I'm going to go ahead and introduce what we're talking about before we do the hi, how are yous. Tonight's going to be really important for all of our listeners. We're doing something a little bit different tonight, a little bit of a different format, because we are entering one of the most blessed times to be a gamer, one of the most exciting times of year to be a gamer, because we are coming up on Black Friday.
And Cyber Monday.
Yeah, exactly. And so we're going to be covering kind of the best way to handle that kind of stuff. And so tonight's episode is going to be for all of you listeners that maybe don't know how to navigate the spider web that is gaming sales and gaming deals during this time of the year. Clark, why don't you go ahead and get us rolling? Tell us about your week. Yeah, calling you out.
I know. So it's been an interesting week. I'm sure everyone has seen the news about Bungie. I am legally not allowed to say anything, mostly out of respect for my fellow employees and what the company is currently going through. But it has been a rough week at work. So to kind of offset my mood, I have been saving up for the past year and a half to get this 3D printer that I saw that actually debuted last year on Black Friday. It's the Bamboo Lab 3D printer. I got it and I have been printing stupid stuff to make myself smile. And I have printed fucking nothing practical. I have made 20 fuck octopuses, which is just a little octopus with middle fingers. I've made little ghosts. Just anything that I can find on Thingiverse that looks adorable, I have printed this week. So that has kind of been my week. Reading a lot of trashy webtoons as well seems to be the theme that my current hyperfixation. So if you want trashy webtoon recs, I've got on my phone, it's on private browsers, so I don't have to deal with pop-ups, but it's probably 15 to 20 tabs of just different ones that I'm reading through, and they're all garbage, and I love them immensely.
Oh, that's fantastic. Eric, how about you, man? How's your week going?
Not too bad. Did HalCon last week. That was interesting. It was the first
very exciting,
somewhat big one I went to. Took the kids. It was different. I don't know how they usually go.
Is that a Halloween convention?
No, I think it's anime and sci-fi.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a Comic-Con style.
Okay.
It's pretty big.
I heard HowlCon.
HAL. H-A-L.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's like Halifax Comic-Con is kind of like what it's...
Okay, I was thinking...
Not 100% sure HalCon if I'm saying it wrong. They even have a character, like a mascot and stuff like that.
What is your... Is yours a moose?
I don't know. Hold on.
Ours is a longhorn cow for Anime Fest, and he's so fucking cute.
But, yeah, they got a particular one, and then... It wasn't too bad though. It was interesting. I will definitely say. Like I said, I've never really been to one, so I don't know what they usually are like. They had they did have cool things though. They played Clue for all the kids and stuff like that. So you go into all the different rooms and ask questions and try to find the murder, right? And then they also had on the gaming floor. They also had wherever you went to each room and did stuff in the room, you got tickets that you could use to get free stuff. Yeah, it was that. They had a lot of things there.
I think PAX is the only one that I've been to that sent me on scavenger hunts or had an activity within the con that I've been to.
Really? That's actually interesting. So the ones that are in Santa Fe, Albuquerque, and Colorado, they almost always have something going on. A lot of it gets put on by the 501st guys that do the Stormtroopers. And yeah, one of the big ones that I went to was like a droid hunt. I believe this was like a promo for the sequels coming out again several years ago, right?
Yeah.
But you had to do a droid hunt, and it was kind of a movie promo kind of thing.
Maybe that's more cons, less fests. Because I'm thinking like Anime Frontier, Anime Fest here in Dallas. Like, there's not a ton of those. Where maybe cons are a little bit more
interactive.
They're meatier, if I can say that.
Well, in the expos, you talk about PAX and stuff. A lot of the expos are more like, come and try this thing out. Check out my new board game. Check out my new video game. And so it's likely that the differentiation kind of falls into that realm, right?
And the mascot is Nelson, the town clock. I guess Halifax is known for some giant clock.
I would have put a lot of money on Moose, but all right.
But yeah, it was pretty good. I was definitely impressed with what they had going on there, like for the kids and stuff to keep them entertained. A lot of the guests, nothing against them. I was a big Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan and stuff, but there wasn't a lot of like. My buddy runs one in like Maine, and they get a lot of the like voice actors, the big names and stuff like that there. So I was expecting at least somebody with something recent out. There's nothing too crazy there for that. So if you wanted to meet Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, he was there.
I was like, how are we tying in how you were not excited about Buffy the Vampire? I see now.
He was. Then there was one other one there, and then like Chad Michael Murray was there. He was One Tree Hill. Yeah.
I feel like I haven't seen him around in forever.
You'll know how they always talk about be cautious when you're going to like meet your favorite actors or meet your heroes. The don't meet your hero aspect to some of the cons. I will say that James Marsters was one of the biggest surprises to me because I thought he was wonderful. Super polite, super laid back. Yeah, that's the guy that plays Spike.
Oh, okay.
And I had a great time. I got to hang out with him for a few minutes in between the autograph sessions and stuff. Super chill, super great guy. So that one surprised me. I was not expecting him to be so cool. I don't know why, but I just wasn't. I guess he does kind of play villains, so.
Yeah. We met the voice actor for Ichigo from Bleach, and he was also, I think, Diego in Devil May Cry. He was super nice. He was very personable. And by, like, met him, I mean we waited in line and paid him money to say hi to us and sign some stuff. So it's not like he was just out and about. But he was super nice. He would, like, do the little Bankai yell every time somebody asked him to. And, yeah, he was yelling a lot. That poor man.
Yeah, but the fact that he did it, that's awesome. But
yeah, it was super nice.
That's like I never knew.
He was really personable.
The Black Ranger from the second season of Power Rangers is a super major voice actor.
Oh, yeah.
I did not realize, like, he's in everything.
I grew up in the same town as the White Ranger, and it was always weird because he did drive a motorcycle and would sometimes wear his little Power Ranger outfit from set home. So you would just see him
the White Ranger
around. Yeah.
Jason David Franks?
Sure.
Your lack of knowledge in this displeases me.
I barely know my own name, okay?
That's okay. We hired you for your anime knowledge, not your Power Ranger.
Oh,
it's
phew,
okay.
I thought you were going to say my looks. No, I'm kidding.
On our audio podcast.
Yeah, that's exactly. You have the face for radio.
Yeah. Don't worry. For anybody
We're live
listening
now usually. Like we got Twitter and
Facebook. That's true.
Facebook.
Okay.
For anybody listening and for our viewers that are on Twitter and Facebook, you happen to know that Clark is by far the prettiest one in the podcast. So
I have the best beard too.
Huh. I'm absolutely the stunner.
That's true. Travis isn't here to argue with me. He thinks he's gorgeous.
Oh dear.
So my week's actually Ryan?
It's been pretty good. Same as I hope for most of our viewers. I'm enjoying a nice little sugar coma after a wildly successful Halloween with my girls. My two little ones dressed up as Alice from Alice in Wonderland and Coraline, and I think the costumes went really well. My oldest, actually, she was the one that dressed up as Coraline. She got pulled over by some people that were asking to take pictures with her because they thought she had such a great costume. And my village takes Halloween pretty serious. I think we had a pretty good time, and so they got to do kind of a trunk or treat throughout the entirety of the village that we call the Midtown route. Got a bunch of candy from that one. Their school took them trick or treating. There was a trunk or treat out at the racetrack, and so each of them ended up with like probably 30 pounds of candy. It's absolutely ridiculous, the mounds of candy that they got. And so it's been really fun. And my family always goes pretty big for Halloween, so it's been a really good time. But now, of course, settling into November, we get to enjoy the spoils of our efforts. I'm trying desperately to get the last few horror movies in before I lose all of my spook season. And of course, getting ready for Black Friday and the subsequent Cyber Monday sales, which brings up tonight's episode.
Did you, well, a minute, have you seen the Winnie the Pooh horror movie yet? Have you taken
Blood
the time
and Honey,
to watch it?
I have not checked it out. It's on my list.
You guys trying to destroy my childhood?
Oh, desperately.
That movie will.
Yeah, I'm not watching that.
So me and my friend group, we very much enjoy those like style of movies that are coming out where it's people that are trying to make the low budget kind of old school horror movies like VelociPastor, right?
Whoa.
That's
not a horror movie. That is grade A film.
Yeah, that's pure poetry.
Cinematography.
And so we did watch like Cocaine Bear, for example, and enjoyed that a lot.
I just love that went to theaters.
Yeah. Here's the best part. The best movie run that I've experienced with my friend group, it was several years ago, but we actually watched all of the Bring It Ons interspersed between all the Sharknadoes. So it was Sharknado 1, Bring It On 1, Sharknado 2, Bring It On 2.
Why?
We had a reason at the time. After all the Russian torment and torture, I don't remember what that reason was. But it was a good time.
It's cold in here. There must be some toros in the atmosphere. I say, oh, ice, ice, ice.
How do you remember that?
Some things just stick, man.
The cultural impact of Bring It On Again 2, and Bring It On Again even more. I don't know the third one, but I feel like it's up there. It's like,
you know what?
Bring It On Again.
Yeah, I can't even remember the name of them all either, but no, so that was a good time. And so we did classic ghost movies. I'm not going to say classic ghost movies. We wanted to do ghost stories for our themed movie run over the spooky season. And so we ended up doing ghost stories. We had a lot of them really, really cool come up. Some of them were very classic. My wife, for example, had us watch The Others. Nicole Kidman. It was a great classic. I took my kids to go see the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which was admittedly better than I was expecting. The interesting thing for anybody that's listening that is interested in kind of the Five Nights at Freddy's, first off, you can stream it on Peacock. It's a fair movie. I enjoyed it. But for any of the big fans of the franchise, the Five Nights at Freddy's video game franchise, the movie is not a jump scare fest like you would expect. It's not like playing the games. The movie tells a really interesting and kind of engrossing story about the main antagonist from the franchise. And so I do recommend it. I give it a solid 7. My oldest daughter is a huge fan of the franchise. She really enjoyed the movie. So give it a check. It's good.
How old should you be to watch this movie?
It's actually not bad. There's a small amount of what I would say is concerning violence. There's not a lot of gore. It's not really bad on the jump scares. I would say, I mean, my daughter is 11, so 10.
Okay, 11. That works.
I can math. Any case, and she enjoyed it, didn't have any problems with it. Now, my kids aren't going to be great examples because both of my kids are super into scary, spooky stuff and horror movies and that kind of thing. But I would say it's not too bad. I'd let a 10-year-old,
like, as a parent, you wouldn't be upset with your kid watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, if it scares them, it may not be for them.
Yeah, and you all know your kids
That's
enough to make that judgment. So
yeah,
kinda.
I am going to take
I don't have any, so I know them real well.
I am going to take this moment to give a shout out to everybody that's watching us on Facebook, everybody that's watching us on Twitter, and I'm going to take the moment to go ahead and encourage you guys to do all those fun algorithm things. Now, for us here at Crossing the Nerdverse, your viewership is always great for us. It's really all we really want. However, if you can give us a like,
otherwise
give us a
it's
follow.
Just us sitting around talking to ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And more importantly, the reason that you've been hearing this kind of plug at the beginning and end of each of our recent episodes is we are trying to get to a point where we have enough followers, that's not the right term, subscribers, on YouTube so that we can go live on YouTube as well. We would really enjoy being able to do that. And so if you could give us a share, tell your friends to check us out. And if we do a good enough job and earn your subscription, click that subscribe button so that we can start going live on YouTube.
I appreciate you telling me why you're doing this recently.
Yeah, that's the goal. Moving down the line, you're right.
And you get monetized at 1,000 subscribers. Yeah. You can monetize your YouTube. So
I don't need to know 1,000 people.
That's kind of our goal, guys. We want to make sure that we're getting all this stuff out to you. We really enjoy doing it. We love interacting with you guys. Our Facebook community has become very vibrant, and it's something I get on and interact with every single day.
And you were going to say violent, and I was way more excited.
It's become very violent.
It's very fast.
We're trying toxic. To get that. We're trying to get out of that E for everyone rating and move more into the 13 realm. Which is going to segue into... Yeah, it's just Eric moderating. It's just a toxic community. Nobody should join.
Yeah, that's just like...
So tonight, we're looking at things that Black Friday and Cyber Monday kind of hit on gamers, and we decided to take a particular avenue for all of you guys. Tonight's episode, as I previously stated, is going to be for those of you that are just getting into gaming, trying to figure out where the good starting points are, and for all of our listeners that are parents that maybe have kids that are wanting to get into gaming or get their own consoles. And Black Friday is a great time to take those steps, get into it, and see where you want to go. And so we're just going to try to clear the path and let you know where to go. Now, there's a whole bunch of facets about this that are going to get covered in future episodes, but tonight we are going to focus on what we call the console wars. We're going to look at the three main players for gaming in Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, and kind of give y'all our opinions on what to look at and the best ways to go and good deals that are already starting to crop up, and how to navigate that very narrow window and a lot of times for Black Friday deals.
Yeah, the biggest thing was I've been at Walmart a couple times in other locations, and like I've had like people ask me, especially if I'm wearing like the Crossing shirt, or I'm oogling things I can't afford yet behind the pane glass window. So they're wondering about like buying video games or like what games to get, what accessories their kid really needs, kind of things like that. So I just wanted to make this, and we all talked about it and kind of agreed. It's just good to get it out there so parents know you don't need to like maybe get the best thing for this, but this other accessory you probably should spend the extra money on because it is something you're going to use a lot. So it just all around makes it a bit easier.
Yeah, and actually that might be a good place for us to start because I have a whole bunch of stuff lined up for Xbox. I know Clark's handling PlayStation, and you're going to be handling the Switch and some of the Nintendo stuff. But there are several things that no matter what console you may be eyeing that are going to be useful. Things like gaming accessories and peripherals, and things to keep your eye on. What would y'all say is like your quintessential stuff that you need to game? Do you need to drop big money on a really good controller or big money on a really good headset?
So for me, like PlayStation, your controller is going to be your base controller. You can get some of the knockoff ones, but you can burn through them pretty quick. I have an Xbox Elite controller only because I like the fact I have really tall thumbs and like long fingers to begin with. So the Elite one allows you to like pop off the joysticks and like make taller ones and also shorter ones, and you have additional triggers on the back end. I find that super helpful for first person shooter. Now on the Switch, I just have trash third party like pros. They were maybe $15 on Amazon, but I have heard rumor that Xbox is going to somehow, I can't tell you technologically how, but they're going to make it so third-party controllers don't work on Xbox systems anymore, and only branded ones do. So
I hadn't heard about that.
I think that might be something that I don't know how they know. I'm sure there's like, it sends its little signal and it's like, you're not an Xbox signal, begone.
Some kind of DRM kind of thing.
I assume it's magic. If I don't understand it, I'm going to fall in that bucket of witchcraft. So, like, for me, a controller, you'll get it in your bundle, but, like, you don't really need to go all out, because also you're sitting at home most of the time by yourself. Like, nobody really LAN parties anymore, so you don't have to have the cool, like, Zelda controller or Pikachu controller anymore, because you're not, like, showing off to your friends unless you want to stream. And then headsets, to me, like, I think the Razer Kraken was $60 on sale. The HyperX that you have is a really good one, but unless you're trying to, like, hear footsteps and breathing in Rainbow Six Siege, like, a headset, you can get a decent one for like $60 nowadays that goes on almost all consoles and your PC if you want. So, like, yeah, that, I don't really think headphones, as long as they're comfy on my head.
And I'd 100% agree. Like, your controller is the most important thing, because stick drift, things like that happen. So, like, your controller, I always buy only PlayStation or only Xbox controllers. Supposedly, like, Scuff makes a good one, but you pay so much for it. Unless you're competitively gaming, it's not something I think you really need. Like, if you buy the standard Xbox/PlayStation controller, I usually get about a year out of them, as long as I don't throw them too much.
That's going to be my next thing, is like, it depends on you or your child, is if you need those little Wii straps.
Yeah, I find it any more than like 2 throws a week, it starts limiting your capabilities.
Starts really wearing down that controller life. Like, yeah, if you're ripping your headset off and chucking it against a wall, just get $15 ones, because they're not going to last.
But yeah, if you for headset wise, you could just get whatever for your headset. Just all you need is the things that cover your ears and the mouthpiece. Don't buy the ones that, like, the one ear one that you get that looks like a helicopter pilot or something.
Oh, I was gonna say like a telemarketer.
Yeah, don't get those, because you want to be able to hear left and right side to kind of differentiate when you're playing shooters where people are coming from. Again, if you play competitive, then yes, obviously go get the $400, $500, $600 headset. But if you're just playing for
what the hell headset is
fun,
$400.
You can get really nice.
You can get some pretty monster ones. I've never actually owned one, so I can't like advocate for it. But so I'm going to interject right here with a completely unrelated tangent.
I like it.
Mostly to continue to plug for us wanting to be able to go live on YouTube. We are having issues with Facebook right now. So for any of our listeners that are wanting to be able to see our beautiful faces, our guy behind the curtain here, who's not so behind the curtain, Eric, has hosted it onto his profile. And while he did say click on the picture that says I love you, what he means is click on the picture that says live, and it'll bring you to
oopsies.
us.
I'm trying not to like be on my phone while we're on here. It should still be to the group. But anyways,
we're just having some Facebook problems, guys. There is a way to get to us. Eric's taking care of that. But Facebook has been giving us some issues in this regard here recently. So just be patient, and if you want us to be able to move to a place that's more stable, like YouTube, give us those subscribes. But no, yeah, in regards to the headset, that was actually one I was going to bring up as well. I think that no matter what system you're looking at picking up, whether you're going on to a Switch or a PlayStation or an Xbox, a good headset is a decent investment. Just like my cohorts here said, you do not need to drop insane money on a headset. The only reason you want that is to get those minute little edges in competitive gaming. I personally like the noise-canceling headsets that allow me to hear breathing and footsteps. That's because I frequently play games like Hunt Showdown, where those little moments, those little detections completely change the game for you. For an average gaming experience, a decent headset with 3.5 millimeter jack is what I recommend. On Black Friday, I would be looking for prices around $40 with Black Friday deals. And
yours
like
isn't
Clark brought,
USB port?
it has both. It can switch between
okay.
3.5
nice.
into USB. I'm going to bring up the fact that when you're looking at headsets and controllers, no matter what you're looking at, Clark already brought it up. Look for those sweet bundles. Look for those boxes that you can get that have the controller and the headset and a great starting game and that kind of stuff, because I think that's going to be the best way to go.
I'm going to put the pause on there. So I'll jump right into my PlayStation pricing facts. So, digital copy of the PlayStation, it's about $400 now. Like, disc copy is $500, and the bundle, which will get you a game, I think it's like God of War, the new Spider-Man, and Horizon are the bundles, are $560. So that means that game is $60. On average, when you go on Black Friday, most new games for PlayStations and Xboxes you can usually get for around $35 if you're at like Target, Walmart, GameStop, Newegg, and Best Buy. They all kind of have a similar price band. So like during the holiday sales, the bundles aren't usually the way to go because there's a good chance you can get that game individually cheaper. However, over the past few Black Fridays, the bundles have been the only package that you can actually get the gaming consoles in because they want you to upgrade into that. So, like, now that the consoles are actually available, like, unless your kid is like, yeah, I want the Mega Spider-Man SKU that's $100, if they just want the base game, it's much cheaper to just get the base game outside of the bundle. But I think with pricing trends and consumer sentiment in the gaming industry, you're going to see a lot of bundles this year and not a lot of individual sales. I don't think you're going to see that. Like, I think it'll be more of those buy 3 get 1 frees type of thing instead of $45 for, or like $20 off this game. I think the industry is hurting. The individual studios are hurting enough to where they're going to try and push that price point. It's like gaming shrinkflation almost. So I think that's going to be where we're going to see a lot of the push this year in terms of.
Everyone's going like Target does, buy 2 get 1 free. They always do that sale.
Yeah, I have a feeling that will be like the predominant thing we see. But I mean, again, across all retailers, all major retailers, I think you're going to see a similar price skew for PlayStations. But yeah, I would just
see that's interesting to know.
The bundle comes with the controller, so
yeah, and see, classically the bundles have always been pretty good, where you can easily just look at it and be like, okay, $60 for the controller, $60 for the headset, $60 for the game, and
you don't get the headsets anymore. It's very rare to see a bundle. So usually your base console comes with console and a controller. Now the bundles are console, controller, and a game, and sometimes a skin for the actual PlayStation. But like, it's very rare to see like a headset pop up in them anymore because they're so individualized. Kind of like how typically if you buy like a PC pre-build, you're not going to get a headset, a mouse, and a keyboard. Like, those are so individual that I don't think they typically come in the bundles.
Part of it is too is the stores themselves, like the retailers, make their money on the accessories.
Yeah.
So they'd be pretty mad at Sony, I think, if they were included everything in the bundle, because they want you, while you're there, like they want you to pick up a headset and an extra controller. That's why usually on Black Friday you have the accessories that are on sale right beside the PlayStation. You could buy your PlayStation 5 and then also get like your extra controller and a headset for like usually like 30% or more cheaper than what it normally is. So, and that's where they make their money as a store.
I realized I just told you shopping sales for my parent company, but you know, I was like, oh, maybe I should have done Xbox.
Fair enough. What's actually funny is you bringing up the fact that the headsets aren't included anymore. That's a valid point. And interestingly enough, I've never found that the headsets that were included in the big bundles were great. Yeah, they were not very good. I had high hopes for the recent Xbox bundle deal for Starfield. It had all the fancy shenanigans with it. And I've heard that those accessories are not fantastic either. So,
yeah, I think I can't think of the last one, like, outside of the base. We're going to call it a base package. The base package is your Xbox, your PlayStation, your Switch console. Switch comes with the 2 little side controllers, but it doesn't come with a Pro controller, whereas the Xbox and the PlayStation will come with a solid unit controller. But that's just because those systems need it, whereas the Switch is designed to be, you can slide them into like a wonky little controller. But I'll let Eric talk more about the Switch.
But one thing about the PlayStation we do got to go over is when parents are looking at purchasing the PlayStation, it does come either with your disc drive or without now.
Yeah.
So the big thing is it's not just, don't just look at the money saving aspect. Yes, it's cheaper to buy your digital system, but the thing is with the digital system, you have to install full games, which take up a decent amount of room. Now the upside to that is depending on the age of your child or possibly yourself, if you have butterfingers, depending on, it's easy to ruin the discs or to damage discs, especially if you're in and out all the time. If you want to switch discs a lot, if that's why you got it.
I think you're just, I have never not had a disced one, and I have never destroyed a disc. And I have a dog that puts everything in his mouth. But yeah, and I think when you look at it that way, you have to also consider external storage if you want to digitally download everything. But terabytes are super cheap nowadays. Well, I say super cheap. I think they're sub 100 now.
So interestingly enough, I got to looking and I compared some of last Black Friday's deals to kind of predict what we can see coming up in the Xbox realm of things. And I think what we're going to be looking at for the memory expansions or the external SSDs and that kind of stuff, external solid state drives, this is additional memory for your consoles. The 1 terabytes are looking to be about $125 for the Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know,
Switch, you get the SSD card, the little guys.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Just so cute. I lose them constantly.
I know with Xbox, the controllers were a big hit last year. A lot of their wireless controllers went on Black Friday sales. You can get them for about $40, which is about $25 off of their normal pricing. I don't have any confirmation they're going to be doing the same thing this year for this Black Friday, but I know that you could get a decent stock quality controller for about $40. I'm hoping it's very similar this year.
I think well, minus inflation, you're probably looking at 45. Let's call it, because that was about what the PlayStation or the PlayStation controllers were looking like.
But I am going to bring up one key point in the discussion of disc versus digital and that kind of stuff. First off, my personal stance. I don't believe in discs anymore. Even when you buy the disc for the game and you have a disc drive console, you put that disc in and guess what the console is going to do anyway? It's going to download and install the entire game. And your disc simply acts as a DRM to give you access to it. Now, this is primarily from the Xbox side of things. I want to be very clear about that. I don't have a lot of experience on Switch or PlayStation. That's why we have my beautiful cohorts here.
Eric, you're beautiful.
Yeah, he's gorgeous.
It's because I'm in a Snuggie.
Yeah.
I figured it was the Snuggie.
But especially as a parent who has 2 daughters that are both into gaming constantly, the best investment I ever made was the Xbox Game Pass. Now, Xbox Game Pass is an amazing digital game library that your kid can get into and download a game for free. A lot of them are there for limited amounts of time. It's almost like a rental service. But as a parent, I can set what games appear on that based on rating systems or special tags. That way they can avoid high violence or high gore games and that kind of stuff.
Real quick before you get too far, he doesn't mean actually free, folks. You do pay for the Game Pass.
Yes, it's like
all the games are included in it. All the games are included in the Game Pass. So in a sense, it's
And PlayStation has their version of it as well.
Indeed.
Everybody has a subscription service nowadays.
It's not free in its entirety. This is a subscription service that you pay, but the individual games you don't have to pay per download or per installation. Now,
there is still MTX though, so you
story.
Can have. I remember, what was that one lawsuit? Some lady went for Candy Crush for like $100,000 because her kid bought like all of this stuff. So there is still MTX. You are not safe from that.
Well, and
MTX
that's something,
is microtransaction exchange. But...
Yes, that's something that everybody, if you're listening to our episode, hoping to get insights for that kind of stuff, microtransaction is the bane of gaming right now. Now, it's a great tool. It lets a lot of games be very affordable. And stuff, but it has to be handled very delicately. But it is in a lot of games, even games you wouldn't expect it to be in. So monitor your microtransaction capabilities. You monitor your cards. Now, in regards to the Xbox Game Pass, there was a lot of controversy recently because Xbox is hiking its prices. Game Pass was not immune to this, and so the prices are going to be increasing. I think it started off as by like $1, and it's projected to get worse as time goes on. This season, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight. If you're looking to get Game Pass for your kid, you can still get on Amazon and buy month membership cards for Xbox Game Pass at the original price. And so you can still get a 3-month Game Pass card for $45, and it gives them access to all of this kind of stuff. Amazon actually came through for me on this one. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been losing faith in Amazon recently. But in this particular regard, check out the Amazon Xbox Game Pass Ultimate 3-month membership cards, because that's going to be your best price for that kind of thing right now.
Yeah, your online memberships are a lot cheaper during Black Friday. That's another thing too. Even the PlayStation 1, which is also going up in price. I tend to purchase at least 1 year's worth every November. I will start purchasing probably 2 years worth with everything with prices.
Same.
And it's nothing against Sony. I know I'm biased, and I'm telling you it's worth the money because I love Sony. But part of it, like, it is if you don't care what you're playing, because they do switch out games, things like that. Not everything's there.
If you like playing a breadth of games, or if you want to try a lot of games, it's good for myself. I have like 3 games that I want to play, and if I look at it being $20 a month, it is cheaper for me to buy those just base games and play those 3 than it is for me to do the subscription. Now, my husband loves to play the breadth of games, so we have the Game Pass for Xbox because he's like, I'm going to play 5 hours of this one game and then never play it again. Yeah, it's not worth me buying that for like $50 if he's just going to play 5 hours and then call it dunsies. So, like, it all depends on your gameplay style. I'm a completionist, so we'll ride that game until it's done.
And a lot of these accessories are going to slide into the same realm. If you are a gamer like me, like Clark, I have a handful of games that I play. 2 or 3 are for me. I have a couple other games that I play with my kids that are installed and ready to rock just for that purpose. So if you are going to be one of those where you have very tailored or catered library of games, you do not need accessories like the 1 terabyte memory expansion we were talking about earlier. Nearly every console you're going to be able to get is going to have enough memory for, what would you say, probably 8 games, 10 games?
I don't know. They keep getting bigger, so maybe like 5 full games now. Like Horizon is massive.
Is it pretty big?
Depending on the games you play.
You can buy that stuff later, too. Like, you can buy the base game, and if your kid has a birthday in 6 months, boom, solid state drive for that kid.
Solid state drive.
Like, you can really milk this present. So, and they're not updating the consoles as much as they used to. Like, it used to be there was almost a new Xbox every 2 years. I don't think there's been a new PlayStation or a new Xbox. Now, my time sense is warped because of COVID, but I think for 5 or 6 years there haven't been an upgrade to a system. And usually what they're doing now is allowing you to play like a version of the game on the old console.
And part of it is that a lot of companies have yet to touch on the full power of the PS5 and Xbox still. So like the new systems, even though they've been out, I think both of them have been out since like 18, 19.
I was like, I feel like it's been a
something
while.
Like so like something like that. So
on the Xbox consoles, the Generation 1 Xbox released November 15th of 2001. The Generation 2 Xbox 360 released November 22nd, 2005. So only 4 years later.
Yep.
Now, the jump from Xbox 360 to the Xbox One, Xbox One S, and Xbox One X, the release date was November 22nd, 2013. And so you had 8 years between that one. And then the Generation 4, which is the Xbox Series X and Series S, the release date was November 10th. Yeah, the refrigerator. November 10th of 2020. So you had 7 years
2020,
on that
okay.
one.
For such a smart company, worst naming system
worst
in the
naming
world
scheme of all time.
Like parents bought the wrong system. So like if you were purchasing any Microsoft systems like Xbox stuff, check with somebody to make sure you're getting the right thing. Because they're so similar in name. Like a lot of people, I think it was when the newest Xbox first came out that same year, quite a few parents bought the wrong system because they did not realize what they were buying was the previous thing.
Or
That's true.
Or like even the Xbox One and the Xbox One S, there was a lot of people who messed that. Like they look very different, but the name is very, very similar. Where it's like PlayStation is just PlayStation. There's only digital or not. Like you can just ask. It's not like you have to know S is the digital only, and the other one is legit. It just looks like a big triangle.
And PlayStation is completely different when you look at them, like the digital and the non-digital one. Like you see the big chunky hard drive on the non-digital one.
I mean, the Xbox One looks very different, but like if you're not paying attention and you don't know what the one you're looking for looks like.
But if I'm not mistaken, they're digital and they're one with they're one with the disc drive. Isn't it the same thing in the newest Xbox? No matter what, doesn't it still just look the same? It's just one has a drive slot and one doesn't. I think they're just that big rectangle, isn't it?
Very white.
There's a black one and a white one. Yeah.
One looks like the old Game Boy or the old PlayStation. Actually, like the gray one where you popped the thing and the disc came out. That's what the Xbox One S reminds me of. The other one looks like a physical refrigerator.
So I'm going to take this moment as we get closer to the holiday season. Y'all are going to hear me say this a lot as we get close to the end of season 1 of Crossing the Nerdverse. When it comes to buying consoles and accessories, guys, you are going to run into a false scarcity, particularly with consoles, because the name of the business right now, which is damaging the industry, is scalping and people that are kind of scamming you out by trying to sell it on eBay. I am going to heavily encourage that you ignore eBay in regards to your console and accessory purchases. And this comes in 2 reasons. First off, they're artificially inflated, and you're going to end up paying a lot more money than you need to pick up these devices. And secondly, the amount of... I'm going to call them scams. They're legal, they're just scummy, that you're going to come into contact with a lot of these scalpers is crazy. It's astronomical. To the point where there's very famous stories about a guy that got on and bought an Xbox One Xbox. And it was the box that the Xbox came in. It was advertised as the box that the Xbox came in. So the guy paid $350 for the cardboard box because of the way it was named. It's perfectly legal, and he got scammed. We're not going to be able to help you navigate the minefield that is eBay. And eBay can be great for a lot of stuff. It's not great for your electronics and your consoles.
No, if you're getting a console right now, especially Black Friday, you want to hit up. Like I know I was a former employee, but I still stick by it. Like Walmart, I own like shopping consoles. November is great. They get a lot in. They usually have a good system to get in and get out. I've messed with Best Buy a little bit during November. I mean, they're all the same price, but
if you go in store for Best Buy, it has a really good price match.
Yeah. But I just find Walmart's bigger. They have more. Like that's just what it is. It is what it is. Even Amazon's pretty good.
Yeah, I personally use Amazon for a lot. There's kind of 5 steps that I'm going to recommend everybody if you're looking at purchasing consoles or gaming accessories on Black Friday, there's 5 steps that I tell everybody, especially if you are unfamiliar with the territory. The first is that you have to plan your spending. You have to have a budget, know what you want to spend, and stick to it. You are going to find so many reasons and so many ways to kind of expand or do things a little bit different. Know what you want to spend. That way you don't have any kind of remorse going in after it. Actually, there's a list that IGN posted that kind of covers this that I'm going to use because they expand on it better. The second point is to create a wish list. Know what kind of items you're looking for. Don't get on Amazon and just type in video game stuff. It's not going to work out. Video games. Know what you're looking for. And if you have any friends that are gamers, if you're listening to our podcast, I almost can assure you have friends that are gamers. Go get their opinions on what to do. There are no wrong answers, and really, there's almost no right answers. I'm an Xbox guy. I will always be playing Xbox. My roommate loves her PlayStation and will not move away from it.
Crossplay is also really big right now. So if you're back during the great console wars, if your friend got an Xbox and you got a PlayStation, you couldn't play together. That has kind of subsided. So you can, if your kids' friends have PlayStation and you have Xbox, Nintendo doesn't play with anybody. So Switch, there's very little crossplay. I think Splatoon, maybe you can play on PC.
The great console wars of 2014.
Yeah, but that's kind of done at this point now. It's just going to be game specific for consoles. Indeed. And even that's kind of going away. Sorry.
But yeah.
Continue on with your list.
So yeah, create your wish list. Secondly, you want to do price comparison like you would with anything. I recommend at least 3 distinct sources of price comparison if you can't do 5. 3 is your happy place. Get a price comparison from your local shopping center, let's say Walmart. Look on Amazon. Look on the manufacturer's website. You're going to get an idea of what you're looking to spend from those 3 sources and where you can get the best deal. So those are going to be your 3 hard points. If you're worried about digging through every little thing to get the very best deal, start with those 3. It's going to give you an idea of what you're looking at. Now, 4 and 5 are very interesting because, according to IGN, your 4th step is going to be to act very swiftly. Exceptional deals sell out quickly. That is true. And it's what happened with I believe it was the PS5 release. They sold out.
Xbox. They both.
And the Xbox. Yeah.
Dumb.
Sold out very, very quickly. The scalpers scooped up hundreds of consoles to resell on eBay. If y'all can't tell, I'm very, very salty about that particular topic. I don't agree with this. Yes, acting quickly and acting on Black Friday is going to get you the best deals, and you should take advantage of that. But don't stress out if you worry, and this is step 5, if you miss a deal, generally you will see something very similar wrap back around on Cyber Monday. Don't be afraid of Cyber Monday. It's a good thing.
You'll see, depending on what you're trying to get to, a lot of the times you'll see the deals on the actual digital networks now. So digital is really kind of, I think, bitten into some of the stuff with the retailers getting a lot of money. So I find Black Friday, I always buy my sports games. I'm getting NHL, the new one, on Black Friday because it's going to be dirt cheap compared to any other time of the year. And if my lazy self doesn't go to the store, I'm pretty sure they're going to have the sale on PlayStation's network itself. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing you'll see when you're dealing with the stores in regards to the games themselves, the better deals will be like Clark had mentioned and stuff like that, is when you do the buy 2 get 1 free. And usually when they do those, it has to be the same price. So if you go to do that, I always say buy 3 brand new games because the free game is going to be the cheapest of the 3. So if you're going to take the time to do it, you buy 3 of the new releases, not brand new. Sorry, they're all going to be brand new. You buy 3 new releases. So you don't buy 2 of the new releases and then go get yourself a $20 game because the $20 game is the free one. But that's the only time you'll really see a difference between them and the digital stores. Usually the digital stores have similar sales.
And I will say a lot of stores have started to put more, you can get just about any Black Friday deal online now. It's no longer where you have to, I remember waiting outside of Best Buy in, the early
GameStop
2000s.
Camp Night.
Yeah. You don't have to do that anymore for my $5 DVDs. Like, a lot of the retailers have most of it online, and a lot of them are starting to expand their sale time frame. So now it's not only Black Friday, it's November, month of savings. Like, happy Tuesday, here's a Blu-ray player. Like, retailers are getting ridiculous. And I will say, like, if you're looking to build a PC, because I'm PC Master Race, I play most of my games on PC, PCPartPicker.com. I will plug them until the end of time. I get nothing from it other than joy of helping you
not
build
sponsored,
your PC. Yeah,
not just a website we think is very cool.
Yeah, basically all it does is it lets you know if your PC components are compatible, and then it lets you know what you're missing if you're trying to build your own PC, and it does do some price tracking for you, and it will hunt the web and say, like, hey, Newegg has this motherboard on sale for $150, Best Buy has it for $20, whatever. So it does that. I cannot recommend that website enough if you are hunting around for PC parts during this holiday season, because Cyber Monday is usually when I will buy PC parts.
Another interesting and useful plug, especially for parents trying to figure out, the minefield, so to speak. This one's been around for a long time. Most people really know, but I'm going to plug it anyway because it's something I use a lot, and that's canirunit.com or canyouRunit.com. This is where you can check to see if an existing system, an existing rig, as they're frequently called, can play a particular game. So, for example, I wanted to pick up the new Baldur's Gate 3 that came out, I'm going to say recently. My personal PC couldn't run it. I couldn't figure out why. This website helped me figure out that it was effectively my graphics card. And so this will help you get an idea on, well, my roommate, I want to get him a cool present, but he's already a gamer and I don't know what to do. PC parts are a great way to go, and this will help you figure out what you need.
Dang, you are a really nice roommate.
Yeah, well, I couldn't think of a good example, and I didn't want to just keep using kids, right? But, I have a 12-year-old son that, games on his computer, but I don't know what part to pick.
My next door neighbor needs new NVIDIA graphics cards, so I just thought I'd hook him up.
In that case, get the GeForce RTX 3050.
Are they ever going to become affordable again, by the way?
No,
never
come on.
Again.
What
never
are we
again.
doing here with this?
You can say thank you to Bitcoin.
Yeah, they'll never be affordable again. It's ridiculous.
But they can launch space shuttles now, so it's fine.
What?
Yeah.
They're just dummy powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know.
So I did want to cover an accessories question with you guys. That's kind of a big topic when it comes to controllers. Now, this is good for everybody, even including our PC players. A lot of PC players will use a controller instead of mouse and keyboard for certain games.
Because they're weak. No, I'm kidding. Some games need controllers.
What is your stance on wired versus wireless?
Ooh, okay. So for my PC, for everything but controllers, I am a wired fan because I cannot remember to charge the stupid things. I've had wireless mouses, forgot to charge, middle of raid, dead. Wireless keyboards, forgot to charge, middle of raid, dead. Headsets, dead. So for my PC, I am full wired because I'm irresponsible. That being said, I will not play on a wireless or a wired controller, wireless only, but I get the rechargeable battery packs. That's the one thing that I typically will spring for. Or the little that is the accessory that I'm like, if I had to get an ancillary accessory, it's the charging docks for controllers, because I just hate plugging them in and having a ton of little wall mounts all over the place to keep them plugged in. It's just a little slot that you drop the controller in, which is actually something I really like about the Switch, is its holding dock is its charger. I'm like, oh, this is brilliant. Call it a day.
Great design on that.
So yeah, that's my stance. It's pretty.
Eric, what you got?
So does anybody
you can't throw
remember?
them if they're wired.
Well, you can. Anyways, does anybody remember how you used to be able to thoroughly track your Call of Duty stats? They used to have an app. You could get the nitty gritty. Okay.
Yeah.
So I actually, if you were competitive in any way, you got to go wired. I mean, Okay, toxic.
It's Call of Duty back in the day. Yeah, it was just
It's Call of Duty, yeah.
Even if you were a casual gamer, you were toxic.
So, if you want to get that extra on your KD, you actually should spend money on your controller and your monitor. I did find wired controller and a gaming monitor. I actually got my KD like 0.3 better than what it was without. So there is a little bit, because there's a delay when you use wireless. You are going to run into that issue with a delay with your controller. Fair. So if you are doing something that isn't like a shooter, like if you're not playing like a Call of Duty or something of that nature, if you're playing more of something that's okay with
campaign mode.
Yeah, if you're playing something that you can have that like nanosecond of a delay, then that's fine. But when you're playing Call of Duty and you come around the wall, you want to be able to kill the person right away. No, and you're wondering why you didn't. Or if you're ever wondering why you thought you were hiding behind the wall, but you weren't and you died, it's because they have better equipment than you, and they saw you early enough and were able to kill you.
Yeah, and that those milliseconds. Yeah, those milliseconds in heavy competitive shooters like that, they do add up. To the point where even minor setting adjustments within the game can dramatically change its performance. And that's where crossplay became very controversial a few years ago, especially in Call of Duty.
Still is.
Yeah, because PC players have more settings, more things that they can change without even technically cheating. They just have more settings that they can change to make it where they don't have to obey the game's inset limitations. Your AK-47 has 0 recoil and just laser beams. And when you have all of this added together into a competitive nature, those fractions of time are a difference maker. I will say this, my stance when it comes to wired versus wireless, I don't mind either one. I use both frequently. However, if you are gaming or your person you were buying this gift for is gaming in a high traffic or public space, get rid of the wires. It's not worth it. So, my girls, they game in their toy room. It's a primary walking path from my house down to my game room. I bought them wireless controllers because it's just worth it. If you game in the living room, get wireless. It's fine. Now, there are downsides, like Clark was saying. I run wireless, and so I have 3 of these bad boys with rechargeable batteries set up all the time so that I can make sure I have plenty of batteries for my Xbox controller, because it will just die mid-raid. It just happened to me the other day in Destiny. It's very frustrating. But yeah, if it's a high traffic area, I mean, I know it sounds common sense, but a lot of people don't think about it. Buy wireless for high traffic areas. If they have their own out of the way dedicated video gaming space, like, a corner of their bedroom or, their private PC or whatever, get wired. It saves you ultimately. I will tell you, I tell this to everybody, try to avoid the wireless controllers that you can like plug in to charge. You have the like micro USB charging points. They work great for a while. My experience has been that they wear out very, very quickly, and cannot stand up to very much abuse. And so,
what are you doing to your controllers?
I have children.
Dude, I have fired a controller, had that thing bounce off the floor, off the wall, and almost took my kid out one time. She was walking. I was like, this is not... I'm going to tell you...
We at Crossing the Nerdverse do not condone rage quitting or destruction of property during video games.
Hold on. I condone some rage quitting. I don't condone throwing your controller unless it's like into a couch.
PS4 controllers bounce. I'm just letting everybody know. Like, I'm talking like off the floor, off the wall, at the couch. Like, it was impressive. I was like, this thing's like a bouncy ball. And I didn't even get some spin behind it. Like, when I launched it, because I lost, I didn't get any good spin or anything to it. It just bounced pretty good for me. So it was nice. So, Sony, you are making great equipment. I'm just throwing it out there. If you need a tester,
yeah, he's throwing it out there.
I am literally like launching these things. No breakage.
Guys, Guys,
I enjoy that you're like
thinking
about putting spin on a controller that you've just hugged.
You are beyond our help, Eric. Professional, anyway. So anyway, yes. Avoid the ones that you plug in the actual battery pack. Avoid the ones that you plug the controller in using a micro USB. They're very easy to damage. However, Clark had mentioned the docking ports where you can put the controller onto a docking port. Those are fantastic. I highly recommend those. It's what my girls use. They're great. So that's my stance on wired versus wireless.
Do you remember those silicone gummy cases you could get for your controller for better grip?
Oh yeah, the grip cases.
Yeah. Do they still make those?
They were basically not sure. I'm sure someone makes them out there. No, what we're getting Eric is 3 of those little tie it to your wrist things from the old Wii U, so that he goes to throw it and it just is ka-tunk, it just takes out his teeth.
And here, I don't want that though.
I want that flying.
No, here's literally my stance. Anybody that throws controllers or breaks things has never had to worry about money, because I've never broken a controller due to rage, because
that's fair.
I could not afford to lose my controller, and so
that's why I'm giving Sony praise. I've thrown several of their controllers, and I've never had to buy a new one because of it. Now, stick drift, totally different thing.
Stick drift is a problem.
I've only had stick drift on my Switch, and I was really upset about that.
I've had it on a couple of different PlayStation controllers. I do find that can be a bit of an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be totally honest with you and tell you what I'm playing when I notice it the most. I feel like it's shooters because I haven't been playing them as much, and my controllers are lasting longer now. That I'm playing more sports games and things like that. So I feel like my stick drift is not as bad. I've had a controller now for over a year, and it's still good.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I play a lot of the Call of Duties and a lot of the online shooters, it kind of kills them. I feel like
you personally probably aggressively really hit that stick shift in a shooter.
I actually don't, because then you got to be precise. Because if I'm not precise, then I have to throw it. So I have to be precise to get my KD to where I need it to be.
When it comes to stick drift, and I'm an Xbox knight. I set up my place in the console wars. I haven't left the Xbox since then. Even though PC gaming has its appeals, I've found that that's just not where I'm going to land.
How does it feel to never play God of War?
YouTube Let's Plays. Vicarious living. No, in any case, Xbox, especially third-party Xbox controllers, I have a horrible history with because of stick drift. It's terrible. I have 4 dead controllers over there that I was in love with. It was a Mandalorian one. I had a Sea of Thieves one. A whole bunch of these really nice-looking controllers that they didn't even last a year. When it comes to that kind of stuff, shell out to get the actual Xbox controller. Here's mine right here. It's a plain black one. I've been using this one for 2 years now. 0 issues. It's worth it to just get the good stuff when it comes to the controller, because the third-party ones burn out so fast. It's ridiculous.
Now, let's also be corrected saying there's third-party ones though that are exceptional. A majority of the ones, if you're trying to save money, is what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you get the third-party ones that are the scuffs, I think is it Beaver something? Battle Beaver something's another one. There's a couple of them out there that you fully customize.
Those are solid. Those are good.
Yeah, those are amazing. If you can get those, you will notice an improvement in your gameplay. You just will, because you're spending so much. They work well. The buttons are set up the way you want. They
nuts. Shoot for you. But, it's wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, they mow your front yard. They bring in monthly income.
School.
I've noticed if you spend the money, you got the right buttons. You are better.
I will say my Xbox Elite controller is by far my favorite hand feel one, and I think that's typically $100 for that controller, where a normal one's maybe around 40. You can just customize it so much, and it's so nice.
And lastly, I'll bring up the Switch. There's not a lot of great deals, and the Switch is what it is. You're going to get it or you're not.
Fucking expensive.
But it's awesome. You can take it everywhere. It's got nice graphics. It has Animal Crossing and Pokemon, What more do you? And Zelda, like you don't
Mario.
really need a whole lot more. Mario's kind of Smash Bros is kind of cool. But
how dare you?
Nintendo is what it is. They're
kind of cool.
They don't go on a lot of sales.
How do we kick Eric from the podcast?
We can't. He's in charge of the business side.
So you don't get a lot of sales. The one time you get decent ones is going to be your Black Friday. You'll get more of the bundles than you normally would, and you'll see some sales on games. But if you generally go to Walmart or even Amazon or anywhere, even games that came out when Switch first came out are still full price. Nintendo is adamant about, if you want us, you're gonna pay what we're worth, and that's it. So they're a totally different animal. And I don't even like their subscription service. I don't know enough about it though to really tell you if you should get it or not, because I won't even give the time. They have very few games I like outside the ones I've named, so I don't mess with it. For the Switch,
so I played Splatoon at Pentathlon recently, and I will have to say, if you have a kid that you don't want to play first-person shooters, but your kid kind of wants to play a game that's like a first-person shooter, Splatoon. PlayStation is coming out with I'll call it a knockoff, where I think this one, Splatoon, you shoot paint, and your goal is to like cover the area in paint and like shoot other players with your paint. Like it's paintball, digital paintball. And I think PlayStation's coming out one with like bubbles, but like I will say that's like a really good kids game to allow your kid like a first person shooter experience without having it be a first person shooter. And I can't think of another title that's like it outside of the one that PlayStation's ripping off, and I say ripping off because it's very similar.
Yeah, Splatoon has the feel, like, it's not an exact copy or anything, but it has the feel of some of those games that cropped up in, like, Fusion Frenzy. You know, where it's they were kind of party games, right? But Splatoon took that and expanded it. It's solid. I'd put a stamp on Splatoon. It's good.
Yeah, I liked it. I was like, oh, I am an adult and this is fun.
I have been.
Yeah, that's all I got with Nintendo. Like there's just not going to be.
You know what?
Do you find the Pro Controller for your Switch? Like I won't play my Switch. Like I'll play it handheld with the joysticks, the Joy-Cons, but like if it's in a dock and I'm playing on a screen, I have to have like a regular controller. I can't physically hold the Tiny Joy-Con controller thing.
I don't ever play it on a TV. I only play it mobile. And that's why like I have the original Switch when it came out still, but I bought a Lite just because it's easier. It's a little bit cheaper. And it's so much. I only play it on the go. Like I don't like my Switch on TV. I don't know why. I'm weird, I guess, but I play it on the go.
With mine. I love it.
Yeah, that's all I do with it. I don't ever hook it to a TV.
Those are very valid points I want to bring up to kind of close out our episode here, because Switch does have that aspect to it, that kind of gaming on the go aspect. I know PlayStation's coming out with the PlayStation remote.
Oh, the PlayStation controller, there's like a Play Anywhere controller. It's basically like a phone stuck in between. It's like a Switch, but not like a full console in itself. Like you can't stick a game into it kind of thing.
So the Switch has two main points that I found appealing to it so far. Now, first off, let me say, I don't mind the Switch controllers. I've played with them, one in each hand. I've played with the tiny little like Joy remote deal. I can use it all. It's not a problem. However, two anecdotes that I think are really selling points for Switches. The first is, so we have a Switch here at my house. It's my roommate's. We don't use it very often. It's kind of her gaming system. But because of the way that it works in the docking port, she can have the docking port set up in the living room to do any gaming that she has when she has some, time in the main space of the house. But if we have people coming over or large groups coming over that might have kids or something like that, it's really easy for her to just take it, move it to her bedroom. There's no unplugging cables or screwing with like uninstalling and reinstalling it. She can just take it and go. And that's a really handy aspect to have, especially if you like host a lot or have guests over a lot. The other side of it actually comes from the mobile gaming. This one, parents, mostly for you. I have 2 players at my D&D game. Their kid comes with them. He's not super interested in D&D. He might be, but he's not super interested in D&D right now. And my table's not super kid-friendly as it is. But I wanted them to be able to game, and so I told him, bring him on. He just brings his Switch with him, throws on his headphones. I hooked him up with a gaming chair and a good setup for like power and that kind of stuff. Gave him access to our table, like drinks and snacks. And he's been coming to D&D for months now, kicking back, playing on his Switch. And that is an extremely useful thing for both of the other players at my table. They don't have to worry about babysitters. They can bring their kid with them to the D&D game. And even though he's not super interested in playing with us, he's still doing what he wants to do. Everybody's safe. And having that type of mobile gaming access is fantastic. And so if you're looking for something like that, if you're a parent looking to buy a console for your kid, but you travel a lot, this is a great way to go. And many companies are starting to try to do the same thing, like we mentioned with the PlayStation on the go kind of stuff.
Steam Deck.
The Steam Deck, yeah. These are great ways to go. The mobile aspect to a mobile console is something to truly consider. And while Nintendo very much is, you will pay our prices for this is what we have said, and this is the law, a lot of times it's worth it. And so...
Yeah, I'm definitely not dogging on Nintendo for it. They are worth, like, it's just a different environment. Like, when I play Nintendo, I feel like a kid again. It's not as, you don't have, I don't know. I don't feel as competitive. I don't have to win everything. Even when I play FIFA, I'm okay with losing. But
I don't believe that for a second.
I am. It's Nintendo. You can't be angry.
He can't throw the remote.
Oh, you can't throw the Switch. Yeah, no. There's no throwing the Switch.
If you are a rage gamer... Don't buy a Switch. Like,
you can buy a Switch. You just have to buy the OtterBox.
or you keep something beside you that you can throw in its place. That's the key.
I feel like we just need to get you a giant horde of sticky balls.
Just rubber bands, like a bouncy ball maybe, or like the rubber band ball that you can buy.
I feel like that's too heavy for you. Like, there's like these new toys that like they're stick-em balls, and you throw them, and they just kind of like stick to your wall and then like slide down. See? I think that's what you need. Like, I don't think you need something that will.
In all honesty, I have yet to throw a PS5. No, I think I did once, but I haven't thrown a remote in a long time. So
there's actually a board game called Throw Burrito that has these.
I can't play that.
The plushy burritos, and I'm just gonna get him a stack of those because you can throw those things with all the oomph that you can. They're just gonna drift away from you.
Okay, one thing I want to make a shout out about real quick because I know we're coming to the end. So
coming up on the end here.
We threw out on our Twitter. I threw it out on Blue Sky too. I threw it out on Thread. I think I put it out on Instagram. So we started reviewing other podcasts like once a week. Well, I have. So I'm reviewing. I'm reviewing one podcast every week. I throw the review out on Twitter and anywhere else you want it. And it also goes on our website with a link to your podcast. I'm trying to help you generate more and us generate more. So we've been doing that. So I've already done a couple. I did Too Legit to Crit. Interesting show. Not kid friendly, but really good show. There are 2 funny guys on there. I did The Comfortable Spot. Pretty interesting show. It calms me down, to be honest with you. It's crazy to say. And the other one I did recently is Fiery Discourse. You should check that out. It's all like they pick shows and things that are about dragonesses. So they have to have a dragoness in it. Yes.
Interesting.
Right. Like there's a Batman.
When you say dragoness.
A female dragon.
Batman?
There's a Batman episode where there's a dragoness in it, and they go over it. Like Reign of Fire is another one. That was my favorite episode they did.
Oh, Fourth Wing?
I don't know if they did that one yet. But Aragon, they did Aragon. So, like, they do, I think they're only doing shows if that's a book.
It is.
They did a couple Disney movies,
but I think
too.
Hulu picked it up as a show. Somebody's picked it up as a show. Hulu's picked up Actar, I think. Oh, Amazon Prime has picked up Fourth Wing, I think.
But yeah, So I'm going to continue to do it. So if anybody's interested in doing, getting their podcast reviewed, stuff like that, I have a huge list right now, but I am going through it one at a time.
Do you let them know that you're reviewing them, or are you just picking them?
No. So any podcast that sends me a message, they're interested in doing it.
Gotcha.
I'm like, all right. And I'm not just doing the people pleaser with the reviews either. It's not just all like sugar coated stuff.
You're being
I am gonna.
What it is?
It's honest reviews in regards to like if your audio has issues or like interrupting each other when you're talking, things of that nature. Like
we don't do that at all.
The good, the bad, and the ugly. You got to mention it all, or it's not a good review. Like we said, review bombing is bad. So
no, that's true, and we are very proud to be part of the nerd podcast community. We do have a lot of support that we've built up over the course of our first season here. We're excited to be getting into our second year. And so, yeah, if anybody has a podcast, they want us to check it out, and you're not afraid of an honest review, definitely hit us up.
Yeah, Eric will review the shit out of you.
Yeah, I'm listening to Critically Stupid right now. It's an interesting show, so that'll be coming out Monday. That'll be the next.
I really like the name of that.
Oh, there's some really. I'm telling you, some really good. That one's a D&D, like they just play D&D. Bunch of friends. Yes, it's very interesting.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? This actually is a good kind of segue. We are also going to be starting up, and this one's going to take a little bit. It's probably going to be crossing season 2 content. We're going to be starting up a indie game kind of review, almost like a Let's Play situation, especially as our YouTube continues to grow. If you are an indie developer or you have created an indie game in your garage and you want a group of nerds to check it out, hit us up. We would love to check out your game, give it a play. We'll get it up on YouTube, get the word out about your creation, and again, give you an honest review.
Yeah, I did a RPG game a long time ago, tabletop game, all based on D6s. So yeah, we've done reviews before with stuff, so we're just looking to kind of just keep growing and helping everybody else grow along with us. So.
All right, and with that, you've been listening to Crossing the Nerdverse as we reviewed the upcoming Black Friday and Cyber Monday. You listened to a bunch of opinions from random nerds, and we were happy to have you here.